Hello, everyone. I am back today. Oh my gosh, I found a beaver. Look at that. I haven't seen one of those yet. So, as you can see, I'm a little lost here. I have been, oh gosh, I don't know where I came from. I have been following this river for a minute now, and it's super beautiful. Um, it was the one that was next to my panda enclosure, and I just started following it, and I'm kind of really far away. But anyway, here I am today. How are you guys? How is everybody doing? I hope everyone is doing well. Um, Mental health check in this week. It's been kind of a weird week. It's been one of those weeks where I've got a lot going on in my head. And, oh, I found my way back. Oh, look at the turtle. Hi, Mr. Turtle. He's just bouncing around in the water. I don't know if I like this new update where the water's not blue anymore and it's like clear, and I don't know. I don't know if I love it. Oh my gosh, did I just find an iguana and a camel? Let's help him out of here a little bit. No, come back, Mr. Camel. Oh, he's just determined to drown. Something killed him. What just killed that camel? That is so weird. Well, I tried to save him. Anyway, mental health check-in for this week. So, what I've been thinking about this week is, well, my thoughts. And I don't even know how to. I don't even really know if I know how to talk about one I want to talk about this week, but just your thoughts and how they can control your actions and how you deal with things. And I watched this. Man, that scorpion's just gonna live here forever, isn't he? I watched this sermon, and it was really, really good. And they talked a lot about, our thoughts and how we how everything comes from a thought, right? I don't know why I'm going in right here, but I've been trying to finish my house. I finished my bedroom. I don't know if I showed you guys this yet. But I really love it. And it's just really, gosh, it would just be such a peaceful place to be. But anyway, he talked a lot about our thoughts and how thoughts basically, run everything. And how you have to really be careful what you're thinking, right? Because, and this goes into a little bit more Christianity than I normally share, but this is the room I'm working on right now. It's my library. And I just don't know what I'm going to do with it. I think I'm going to do bookshelves all the way across here, and then maybe some tables and stuff. So, and then this will be like a little seating area where you can read. So I guess let's get some bookshelves. So a couple good points he made. I've been struggling the last few weeks a lot with, my mind just always goes to the worst place, like worst case scenario, right? And worst case of like, where's all my stuff? Oh, there it is. Oh, I thought I lost my add-ons for a minute. Anyway, my mind always goes like worst case scenario, right? And I don't know if any of you out there struggle with this, but sometimes when I'm really down on myself, my thinking isn't always great. There's always that thought there like, oh, well, I'm not good enough, or nobody really cares about me anyway. Some pretty dark thoughts kind of can creep in sometimes. I think this is the only bookshelf we have. And so I really want to make it look like actual bookshelves, like in a library. Anyway, I think, I don't know if you guys struggle with this, but sometimes I go to some pretty dark places with my thoughts, and I think this, when I was listening to this sermon this morning, he had said something, and I'm not trying to quote this person, so I hope he doesn't feel like I'm trying to steal anything from him, and I don't remember his name, or I would tell you who he was, but he said something about, there is a devil at the door, right? So, in other words, you're always going to have two trains of thought, and what's the best one to follow, and how do you know you're following the right thought? So he said there's always going to be a devil at the door, and it's because what's on the other side of the door is so much more important. And so there's going to be, the devil's always going to try to stop you from getting to that thing that's important. This is becoming very Page Master-esque, I think. Anyway, that thought really hit home to me, right? Because it seems like, for me anyway, anytime something's going really good in my life, I feel like that's when those negative thoughts can hit me the most. And why is that? Why is it when we're happy, things have to be that way? I just don't understand. You know? Um, um, and I don't know if this was the right time for me to do this talk or not, because I don't even know really how to say what I'm trying to say. I need to get my mind together a little bit some of these days. But it's true, right? Like, so I guess what I learned from that was be careful what thought you're giving into or what thought you're listening to. Because the enemy's always going to try to get you on the wrong page. He's always going to try to steal your happiness in some way or another. And I did not mean for this to become like a sermon. And, you know, but that's who I am. That's what's important in my life sometimes. And it's what I believe in. It's what I have faith in. So, again, after he said, you know, there's a devil at the door, he was talking about how it's because of what's on the other side of that door is so much more important. And he had said that the size of the devil at the door, so how big that problem is, how big that hurt is because what's on the other side is so much bigger. You know, and I love that. I loved hearing that because to me, that just showed me that, you know, these struggles I'm going through, like at work or at home or emotionally in my mind, they are, they feel as big as they are because on the other side of it, if I can just get through it, there's such a big blessing waiting on the other side. And I just think that that's amazing. And I just am really grateful to hear that. And you know, just even just yesterday, I was talking to my son about how we're not always going to win in life. Like, you just don't. I know he was like really frustrated about a video game that he was playing, and the fact that he just, no matter how hard he tried, he just couldn't win this game. And, oh, do I want to do pink instead? No, I don't. Anyway, he got really, really upset because he couldn't win this game. And upset to the point where he was, you know, being very negative about it. And I thought, okay, let's take a break from this game. Let's not, we don't need to play this if it's going to cause, you know, these negative emotions. Let's take a break from it, you know, and that's kind of where I was at with it. So, you know, we took a break from the game and and he got really, really upset that I had made him take a break from the game. And I was trying to explain to him that, you know, we don't always win in life, and it's how how you pick yourself back up that matters, and how you move on from that matters. And that, it really upset him, you know, like he wasn't understanding, you know, what I was explaining to him. And it kind of got escalated, you know, to the point where we were really frustrated with each other. And you know, I finally told him a story about my life, about something that, you know, about a time when I didn't get what I wanted. And it was, I don't know if, I'm not a perfect mom, you guys. Like, you know, maybe he was too young to hear that story, but God, in my heart, I just felt like he's got to grow up a little bit, you know. He can't get that devastated over failures, because if he does, life's going to chew him up and spit him out, because you fail in life. Everyone fails in life at one point. And if you can't pick yourself back up, if you have to get so frustrated that you just feel like life is, you know, over, then I mean, you're just never going to survive. And I just couldn't, I had to get his attention, you know. So I told him about a situation where I had failed in life, and it was traumatic for me, and it was hard, and I guess I could explain it to you guys. You know, I've made this channel to be a judgment-free place, and hopefully for me it will be that. But yeah, so when I was, you know, 17, I had a daughter, I had a baby, and I was very young and still pretty immature, you know. And kind of long story short, you know, I was in no place in that point of my life to be raising a child, and I shouldn't have been doing what I was doing to create the child in the first place. I get that, but it happened, and you know, it was what it was. And so, you know, long story short, I ended up she ended up getting adopted, and I always thought, you know, and maybe this is selfish of me, but I just always thought, you know, it'll be okay when she turns 18, she'll come find me, and I'll get to, you know, be a part of her life again. And I assumed that because, man, I just broke that. I assumed that because, you know, a little bit of history about myself, I was actually adopted. And I remember as a kid, I couldn't wait to find my birth mother. So I guess I just assumed that she would feel the same way. Um, but she didn't. She didn't ever come find me, and that's okay. That's up to her. You know what I mean? That's um, not something that I can ask her to do or force her to do, or you know, it's okay. And so I explained that to him, and I explained it to him that, you know, I mean, it's not something we've ever kept a secret, so I don't think he didn't know. But I just explained to him that, you know, um, we don't always get what we want in life. Yeah, I wanted her to come find me, but she didn't, and that's okay. And I moved on, and um, and I'm okay with the choice that she made. And you know, I explained to him that that was something in my life that I really wanted that I didn't get to have, and and it's okay to not always get everything that you want. And um, he was surprisingly extremely mature about it. He told me he was sorry, and he told me that he hopes that she has a good life. Um, and maybe some of you out there might think, you know, that's too much information to share with a kid, but um, you know, I explained to him, you know, that's a real life situation, and here you are sitting here angry, so angry that you want to cry over a video game. You know, I said, there's, you know, there's bigger things in life and than video games, and more important things in life. And I think he understood the message behind me telling him that story. And you know, it's all about our thoughts. I was really shocked at how negative he was being about um, just not winning a game, you know. And it wasn't like he was just upset and being negative. Like it wasn't a small thing. He was like talking, you know, it's the end of the world type stuff, and just upset and angry. And you know, um, I think that's why I needed to give him a reality check, and that was my intention on telling him that story. Um, and I think it worked. Um, but I think as I thought about it, I realized, you know, that's a pretty good lesson to learn. Like, you know, because there's a lot of truth. You know, we don't always get what we want in life, and it has to be okay when we don't. We have to be able to be okay when we don't get everything we want, when we don't win every time we want to, because you're not always going to win every time you want to. And I just felt like it's a good lesson to learn. So yeah, that's what today's about. And I'm not sure if my rant helped anyone or not, or is helping anyone or not, but oh, stink. Oh man, I can't. I keep pushing the wrong button. What the heck is going on here? Good Lord. Mm. So yeah, our thoughts. I mean, I don't know if I'm the only person, but they're constantly contradicting each other, right? And I really believe that we need to learn how to be more careful as to which thought we listen to. Oh, stink. Um, oh man, I'm making a mess everywhere. Anyway, um, so yeah, so we just need to be careful what thought we're listening to. I don't know what I'm doing here, you guys. Um, let's see if I can think of an example of contradicting thought. Um, like, I mean, something simple, right? I have been really tight on money lately. Okay, like, and let me just tell you, the enemy will attack you in the littlest ways and the biggest ways. Like, this isn't even that big of a deal, right? So, um, like, even something as small as, so there's this store next to where I work, right? And it has these big bags of jerky, but they're like $20 a bag. And I absolutely love them. And every stinking time I get paid, I'm like, oh, I want one of those $20 bags of jerky. But I know damn well I should not be spending $20 on a bag of jerky when I'm as broke as I am. Or when I have other bills I need to be paying. You know what I mean? But anyway, here I am. Like, okay, it's just one bag of jerky. No big deal. Like, oh man, I am making a stinking mess. Anyway, but it is a big deal. And, in my mind, I'll tell myself, oh, well, you don't ever treat yourself, so it's okay to do that. But that's a contradicting thought because I know in my head that I also have these bills I need to pay, and that extra $20 probably needs to go towards that bill. Right? And not that I'm irresponsible and don't pay my bills, because I do pay all my bills, but every once in a while I do, spend a little bit more than I probably should. But yeah, it's that temptation that's there. You know what I mean? And I know that's like a terrible example, but um, we have to learn to not give in to the thought that says, "Oh, it's just one bag of jerky," and to say, "Yeah, but it's $20 you could stick in savings." You know what I mean? Like, we need to learn to listen to the right thought and not the wrong thought, not the justification. Um, I guess is where I'm going with that. I loved this other thing this pastor said too. He said that before it becomes a feeling, it becomes a thought. And so that goes back to the thoughts, like the ones that are like harsh to you, the ones that like are hurtful. I don't know where I got this stuff. Oh, here. No, that's not. Anyway, I don't know if anything I've said today has helped anyone, but look, we built a library. I like it. I do kind of wish it had more light in it. I wonder if I could just maybe do some lanterns. No, I didn't want to do that. We'll go right here. Anyway, like I said, we built a library. I don't know if my thoughts have helped anybody today, or any of those quotes have helped anybody. Um, but I know they sure hit home for me. And, and because lately, the last few weeks, I have been struggling with my thoughts on the way to work. You know, I pray a lot, and one of the things I pray about the most are um, to have healthy thoughts, because I feel like my mind really is hard on me, and I don't know if anybody else feels that way. And I know it's a part of having mental health condition. Your mind is hard on you. But man, when I feel hurt, I just feel tortured. And that's the other thing. We got to stop living in the past. Living for things that happened a long time ago that don't even uh, things that happened a long time. You got to start living for the future. When I told Riley that story, I realized, and I told him, you know, I might have failed at being a mom the first time, but at least I'm here and I got it right this time. And that's important. It's important to know that we can pick ourselves up and we can move forward. And I do think that's important. I think it's important to know that you can pick yourself up and you can move forward. Um, Alright, I think this is the last room in my house I have to decorate. This is supposed to be a movie theater. So we'll see how it goes. And there's my library, guys. I think it's beautiful. You know what I think we'll do too? We're gonna put a couple couches on the wall. Anyway, I appreciate you guys for listening to me and for checking in with me mentally, and that's kind of where I'm at right now. I'm kind of doing battles with the thoughts in my head, and trying to get to a place where I feel healthy and where I don't let every thought I have control my feelings, because there's a war going on in my head. Not only do I have mental health conditions, but I believe that there's spiritual warfare that goes on in us every day, and we just need to learn to choose the good things and the things that are going to be positive for us. And I love everyone, and I hope to continue to make these videos and be able to talk to you guys. And oh, I don't want that close. Yeah. Anyway, love you guys, appreciate you guys. Thank you for watching my videos. Please find me on Jenny's Gaming Therapy on Facebook or on YouTube. And today was a good talk. Sorry that it was so somber, but I think we got some good messages across, and I think that there's a lot to chew on in this video. So love you guys. Have a wonderful day. Thank you for building my library with me. See you later.